Everybody, we are here with writer-director Spider-One and actor Krsy Fox, and they are here to talk about their new film Allegoria that is coming to Shudder August 2nd this year. So you guys,
Let's
Krsy,
hope it's this
Spider,
year.
it came out last year. No, how are you guys?
Doing
Good.
great.
Yeah.
Awesome. You know,
Excited.
oh yeah, this is one wild ride. And can Spider One, can you tell us how this project came about?
Yeah, I mean, it really is a personal thing. I mean, having spent my entire life trying to survive as a creative person, I've always struggled with that that idea of like always not knowing what's next. You know, considering just leaving everything behind and becoming an accountant or whatever, and then realizing that art has a funny way of putting its hooks into you and holding on to you and controlling your life. And so, Allegoria was really based around that idea of how, an obsessive artistic brain can become a horrific thing and manifest not only, insecurities and ego problems and obsessions, but can manifest real demons and death and monsters. And so Allegoria just took off.
Yeah, and Chrissy, can you tell me about your role in the film?
Yeah, I play Brody, and she's this really timid, insecure actress that really just wants acceptance and support and to have someone be proud of her. She's dating this painter named Marcus who is just absolutely looks down on her all the time and treats her like crap. And then she gets into this acting class, and the acting coach is actually extremely abusive and a bully as well. And it's a really sad character to play because she's a good person and she cares about people. And I think she's constantly struggling with never feeling good enough. And then she has some terrible things happen to her and she ends up getting possessed, and it's just a really sad story. And I certainly can relate to the struggles of being an actor, but this character, she takes it a lot further, where it's her entire existence is just incredibly sad.
Well, Spider One, we actually when I started to watch the film, um, I remembered that this was based on a short, a proof of concept that you actually screened at the Screaming Room Film Festival that we ran,
That's
Oh,
right.
okay.
and yeah, down at the Frida Cinema in
Yeah.
Santa Ana,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Right.
that won the audience award.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was how did you take that short and kind of expand on it? And did you reshoot? I mean, was that because it was like, is that a
No,
reshoot or?
the original short was the acting section with John Ennis and it was, yeah, it was sort of just shot as a standalone. And when we finished it up, and I was just like, man, there's something else here. I couldn't shake the idea that there was room to expand on this idea of art being a catalyst for horror, for terrible things to happen. And so at that point, I know I wanted to incorporate different forms of art, and that's why each story sort of centers on a different kind of art form: acting, painting, music, sculpture, writing. And then it just at that point became a really fun puzzle to put together. Like, how are we going to interconnect these stories? Because the film is it's a pseudo anthology, as it is constructed of different stories, but the structure and the timeline are unconventional in the way that they do connect, and characters do connect, and circumstances arise that are connected to some of these people that don't even meet in the film. So yeah, it was really fun, a fun riddle to solve in putting all these stories together.
And Chrissy, you're and I guess this is for both of you, because this film really explores, as you had originally brought out, that it's kind of like art, it possesses you in a way.
Mhm.
It kind of just digs its claws into you and kind of doesn't let go. But um, how did you decide on the directions to take each one of the mediums? Like and Krsy, for you, your piece as the actor, um, you were kind of given the connection of how that would go. But Spider One, how did I mean, like, how did you choose the directions the different mediums would go? And
Yeah, I mean, I think everything stems from the characters, and I think that there are many different. There's a variety of different in the real world artists, and some, and I think you see a different quality in each character. Whereas, for instance, the Brody character, she's the quintessential insecure actress, which many are. You think that would work against type, where if you're an actress, you would think you are very outgoing and confident and sure of yourself. But knowing a lot of actors and actresses, that a lot of times is not the case. And then you have Marcus, the painter, who is just seemingly overflowing with confidence and that he's better than everybody. And that's certainly a quality that you find in a lot of artists. But yet, when they're alone, that they're not quite so certain. They feel like they're a fraud. And Eddie Park, the screenwriter, there are those artists that anything they think they do is brilliant and no one should ever question it, and so on and so forth. And so, then once you establish these character types, then it really informs you as how to represent them on screen, how to shoot them, and also how to figure out what happens to them, because each personality type is going to manifest a different result, whether it be revenge on somebody or just a realization of their own failings. So yeah, for me, it all started with the script, and it all started with those individual people, and represent them as real people, because I know all those people in one way or another, or combinations of those people. Some may say I may even be one of those people. I don't know. We'll see.
Marcus, but yeah, no. No, I think what Spider's saying is true. Like, I think, even with Brody, like, why is she the one who got possessed? I think because she had this vulnerability about her, that she was an easy target. It makes sense why, when you develop the character and their traits, why certain things may happen to them versus, why didn't it happen to Hope, her roommate? It's because she was much more confident within herself and a little more comfortable. And she was actually probably the most normal person in this entire story. So
was there anything that you connected with the character, Krsy?
yeah, I think just like the struggles of being an actor, I've been doing this a long time, and it's not always like, oh great, we making this cool movie. It's like, there's a lot of rejection, there's a lot of putting yourself out there, and you're not this enough, you're not that enough, or you come really close but you don't get it for some stupid reason. And I think it can eat you alive, really it can. And I connect with a lot of them. I'm a screenwriter as well. I'm definitely don't have the mindset that Eddie Park did, where I think everything I do is genius, but I think that just that feeling of being excited when you're writing a script, and yeah, you can see little pieces of yourself in everybody. And you can even see why Ennis's character became so angry as an acting coach. It's like he clearly didn't make it quite the way he thought he should have, and he's just so angry, and he's just taking it out as a bully on these young actors who look up to him. So yeah, you can really connect and relate in a human way to, I think, everybody.
Yeah, I think anybody that lives a creative life will see themselves, at least in part, in some of these characters, which I think we're finding to be the case. We've had a couple of screenings, and we've had people come up to and be like, oh man, like that writer, that's me, and so like, and that, and that's a really fun thing to make people a little uncomfortable. If you're in a band and you've ever watched the movie Spinal Tap,
Yeah.
That feeling of being like, oh
one of the
God.
best, comedies
But
ever
it's a
made.
great, you face yourself as a musician. You're like, oh, this is my life, and I think that we have that opportunity with this movie, with in a less comedic way, of course, but to have artists. And if you're not an artist, it's a great voyeuristic way to look in a world and maybe be thankful that you aren't possessed by art like most creative people are.
Would you call art or that connection that creators have with their art a form of masochism?
Oh yeah.
It can be. I mean, it is a very unique, it is a very strange thing. It's a very human thing. I mean, we are, as far as I know, the only creatures on the planet that will, live a life of anxiety because you're trying to splatter paint on a canvas. It's a very strange, almost comical thing. And I think there is humor in the film as well. I think it's a serious movie, but I think it does recognize the absurdity of people that, become obsessed with these, kind of very strange behaviors that we choose to do with
Yeah,
human beings,
yeah, definitely.
just like the band scene with this when Dale is describing the six notes and his just obsession with over analyzing music while they just played like the worst song ever with compromise of three chords, that he's just so self-absorbed with his own involvement in the meaning of music that just sort of comical, the contrast in his brain and what they're actually playing.
Well, yeah, it's again though, this movie is certainly powerful, and I was really impressed with how you dug a little bit deeper into your short and built it out into a feature.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It's really a nice piece of work.
Oh, thank you.
What else do you guys have coming up? Is there another short you're going to expand, or?
We
We
skipped the
actually,
short. Yeah,
yeah.
we skipped that second. Yeah, so you go ahead,
Yeah,
explain the
no,
next.
we've actually already shot our next feature. We actually co-wrote it together, which was really fun and something we hadn't done yet. So, and Spider directed, I act in it, and there's a great cast, and we produced it through our company, and it should be either later this year or early next year. And yeah, we're really excited about it. It's called Bury the Bride, and it's much more physical and brutal, I think, than Allegoria. We talk about it being a little bit more cerebral. Well, this film is a little more like, yeah, at the end of it, you feel like someone beat the hell out of you for an hour and a half, which is fun.
Yay!
Yay!
Well, you guys, again, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for talking, and please keep creating. Come back when you can talk about Bury the Bride, because
We will.
now I totally want to see that. Everybody, Allegoria is coming on demand and streaming on Shudder August 2nd. Krsy, Spider One, thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
man.
Good to
All
see
right,
you.
you too. Bye.